How you going, guys? Welcome to my channel. This video is going to be a little bit different to me normal updates. This video is going to be based on my Mark II Escort and the motor I've damaged. Usually all my latest videos for a long time it's been about this 1974 Ford Falcon hardtop, but it's been a long time of waiting. But this car's been off the road for a while now. I leaned the motor out a while back, got it reconditioned, or we just honed it, used the original pistons. It was all good for a while, and then yeah, the head that had been serviced, they done a bit of work to it, and unfortunately the valve stem seals, they didn't use good quality ones, and it was blowing smoke, and I assumed it was my fault. I assumed I didn't do the piston rings properly or something, and yeah, I leaned on it on this club run and pushed it. She ran a bit low on water, plus had a bit of a mess. I just assumed the motor was on its last leg, so I wasn't too fussed about it. I had new pistons, J40 pistons ready. So yeah, I pushed it, had to get towed home. It was at a public holiday, cost me a fortune. So yeah, the car's been off the road now for about 2 months, so I think it's due time. Yesterday I picked up the block and the new cylinder head from the machine shop, so it's time to put this contraption back together. I'll just cover the modifications done to this motor to say he's got an idea what I'm talking about. So here's the block straight from the machine shop. So I was running, I think they were 15 foul over J40 pistons, but when I leaned it out, the piston's swollen and it galled the bores. So it dragged the piston down the bores. Typical thing that happens when you overheat them. So yeah, had to get it bored out slightly more, and then I've got the next size oversized pistons for the J. But this block's on its last legs now. This is it. But one thing that's really good about the Zetec motors, the bores they're really thick. That's the thing. A lot of these new engines these days, they're so stout. At least in the Ford engines I know of. But yeah, very stout block. It's taken a lot of punishment. But yeah, it's on its last legs now. I can't bore it down anymore. And I've got, this is the original cylinder head. I poured it myself. And yeah, really good. I've actually done a little bit different this time. Because this head, it's been second time it's been cooked. The first time I cooked it, we welded it up and gave it a light, just gave it a shave, and yeah, she's good again. But problem is, when you start leaning out, or when you start overheating these engines, these overhead cam engines, the camshaft's got to doesn't run flat anymore because you're warping the head. Once you warp the head, the cams don't run true anymore, so you start having valve clearance issues, and you got leaky valves and all sorts of problems. So you also done a hardness test, and all around the exhaust ports was very soft. So once that happens, yeah, it's very easy for it to for the head gasket to fail again. This engine's under so much stress already, so I thought, nah. So I had 2 spare Blacktop Zetecs, exactly the same engines that I've been running. So all I just removed the cylinder head of one of my spare motors, and yeah, went to the machine shop. They serviced it. I've already ported it before I took it to them, but then they've done a little bit more to it. So I'll just go over what they've done. So the machine shop crack test the block, bore and hone the block. Yep. Resurface the block, service cylinder head, remove oil gallery plugs, and reset valve clearances. Yep. Port and polish the head. So they had a look. Well, the guy had a look at the ports, and he said I could have done a little bit more to them to improve the flow. And then he said, I asked him, I said, can you do anything to it? And he goes, yeah, sure thing. So they spent a few hours on it. I can't notice any difference between the ports before I took it to them. Like, it doesn't seem any different. What I'll do now, I'll just strip this plastic off this cylinder head. We'll have a look and see what they've done. So I have both cylinder heads sitting here ready. I'm just inspecting the ports, and it's hard to tell with the exhaust port on this. The old head, because it's got a lot of carbon build-up, but I can't notice any difference between the exhaust. If anything, the original one's slightly bigger. Inlet, I can notice a little bit of difference in the middle here. There's more material on this one compared to up here. So yeah, definitely this engine will definitely need an tune up. I was going to get tuned again anyway, but I have to run the motor in first or I'll get too excited with it. But yeah. Yeah, so they spent 3 hours on these ports, but I can't see the difference. I know it'd be very time consuming, but I think they've just, looks like they've given them a bit of a polish by the looks of it, which is good. I've heard that doesn't matter, but yeah. Either way, this is a boosted engine. So yeah, boost solves a lot of issues with power. If you just add more boost, you get more power, but the better this head breathes, the less chance or less boost will have to run. So it was at around between 28-30 psi, and I was getting at some of that's the best was 554 horsepower at the hubs, and when it got dyno tuned, it got up to 635 newton meters of torque. Got the dyno sheet around here somewhere, but I can't bother looking for it at the moment. But yeah, she definitely punches out the horses. So yeah, if the head breathes that little bit better, I'm going to get more horsepower, which is awesome. But it's got the cams, the Kent cams. They're like a longer duration, a little bit more lift. So they're purpose built for supercharged, turbocharged applications. So yeah, righto. I think, where do I start? I was running, I've got this dodgy homemade water rail, if I can find it. I don't know where it is, but the problem with this old water rail, it used to go from the back of the cylinder head. It used to go to the back of the cylinder head, run across the side here. In order to get the water rail on, the cylinder head or the engine had to be out. But now I've just upgraded to this Retroford water rail. So the best part about this will go onto the head. This will go onto the head like that, and I can install the engine with the cylinder head on, and I can take the exhaust manifold off. It's going to be so much better, but I don't know how it's going to go with clearance. Could all turn to shit. Looking at that, it looks like it's going to have issues hitting the exhaust, but I'm sure it'd tilt up a bit. I'd have to. So, righto. I'll start with cleaning this block. They didn't clean it. They've just coated it with like a sort of like a oil resistant, like a WD-40 or something, just to protect it from rust. Clean it up, and then I'll start with the pistons. Thought I'd quickly check how this water rail fits up, and it is amazing. Wish I bought one sooner. I just tried, there's my homemade exhaust manifold. Very heavy. I couldn't leave it bolt to the head would fall off the bench. But yeah, really good clearance. So if anything, I'll just have to extend the hose. I already got the hose. Here's the old setup. But it used to be up around here somewhere. So this hose, I'm going to have to go get another hose that extends all the way along here. So I just went to my local auto parts store and went for all their hoses, and this one, don't know what it comes off, another make a car. So yeah, time to start degreasing. So I just got normal spray pack degreaser. I do degreaser, blast it off, and then I'll really clean the bores up well, get rid of all the machining stuff. First thing I do before I use compressed air, dry the bores out by hand, because surface rust comes up near like in minutes. Looks like they've come up pretty good. Look better at it when I've got a torch. Got some brake cleaner. No, I'm not playing fetch today. Son's going to take him for walks, so I'll keep him happy. So what I like to do is really get in there and scrub the Borg, so you get crap that comes off it. They're pretty good. Yeah. Usually you get a bit of grime comes off it. So let's get a quick inspection of the bores. They look really nice. Got nice cross hatches in them. Yep, I think it'll be just fine. Yeah, very good. As I should expect. Coming back from the machine shop. Gonna have a look anyway. And I'm running I'll show you the head studs I'm running. So here's your factory head bolt. I was running these 14 psi boost for a smaller turbo for a while. Then I upgraded to these ARP. They were great. Yeah, I'd highly recommend running them. And then I increased it to these Rb26 12mm studs. So they've got like a metric thread at the bottom, and then Imperial for a really good clamping force. So really good. Much bigger than factory. But yeah, that's all I done. I didn't get the machine shop. I got quoted like $800 to get this drill and tapped. I ended up doing it at home. It's got a drill press. And just, yeah, drilled it, tapped it myself. But the head, the cylinder head, I had to drill it. So accommodate these massive studs. So that's something I'll have to do in this video. I'll have that new cylinder head hasn't been drilled. So that's easy. I've got the drill bit there ready and drill press. So these are the Eagle rods. The older J pistons. So you can see the light scoring marks where it's gold. Worse over that side. I'd happily run these again. People get too excited. A bit of scratches on the skirt. Who cares? Just clean it up again and run it. Yeah, so here's the new ones. Slightly bigger. Very nice. You can see the marks there. See it at the top there. It's been machined. That's it. 298 716. The other ones are 298 715, I think. So yeah, very good item. So I could happily, if this ever happens again, I could just get one of my spare blocks and run these pistons. Yeah. Righto, time to start assembly. Don't know how good the lighting is. So good building 4-cylinder engines, they're so much smaller, less pistons to worry about. To clean that up, it felt a bit coarse. Find this crankshaft. Almost forgot. Got these little oil squirters that go and they spray the cylinder bores. Yeah, one of those new skill things that really helps the motor. I actually lost one of them. One of these was missing off this motor. Found it in the sump. And yeah, it wasn't any increased wear or anything. Yeah, it was all good still. Just had little oil squirters. Time to fit the crankshaft. Luckily this crank wasn't damaged. It didn't lose oil pressure for long. I'm going to be extremely careful when I put the conrods in, pistons, because those oil squirters. So I'm using this Federal Mobile pre-assembly lubricant. Already got some on there, but put some more on there. Alright, slip the caps on. They're all numbered, so it's pretty easy. What am I doing? Gotta get them in order first. find the ARP main studs. Should be hopefully sitting around here, easy to find. I've had to modify one of them to accommodate the Retroford oil pickup. Just following, looking at instructions. So when it comes to these ARP, I don't look at the factory specs on this motor. I look at ARP specs. So these are 7/16, 3 separate torque settings up to 80 foot-pounds. So just got to work out one of these is going to be for the sump pickup. I just got to get the pickup and have a look at it if it lines up underneath. Everything's going smoothly this time so far. I don't worry about putting them in too tight. ARP have a special paste they use for the threads, so that's long gone. So I'm just going to have to use a bit of pre-assembly lubricant instead. Main things to consider is you got plenty of lubricant and nuts and washers, so when you torque it up it's less friction, so you get good clamp. But I won't torque these up properly just yet. I'll do that properly when I do the big ends, because I've got the oil pickup, which is the factory one of this motor that goes in here. So this will clamp like it does as normal. Actually, I probably could. I don't worry about it. I could do it when I do the big ends. But yeah, this goes in the same, and then the oil pickup screws on top of that. Wash onto that. These nuts, some weird ass imperial size. Oh, that'll be a metric, I reckon. Ooh, they're good. Probably 17 mil. I wasn't going to torque these down, but I thought it might be a good idea to do that. At least I know how well the crank spins in case anything's happened, which is extremely unlikely. So I'll start with, it's 80 foot-pounds in total, so I'll start with 25. Loose. So I missed that one. So I'll go, after this, I'll go to a 60, then 80. So, crankshaft spins nice, so it should. Time to move on. Piston rings. Oh. So this is the part where you have to slow right down. So I've started off with the top ring. So I'm looking over it, looking at it in the sun and get nice and close. I think of what it is. It's the barrel face, chrome or moly. One of them ones. Easy enough. Then we've got the second ring, which is more of a carbony sort of thing, and looking at the edge. See how it's got that sort of bevel edge? That'll be a napier, however you spell it. how you pronounce it. So yeah, we've got that. It's middle ring, and the O-rings are just straightforward. So what I'll start with, I've got my grinder ready. So remember last time I done this, I'd put a lot of time into getting the end gaps right. So you got different applications. So mine's going to be, where is it? This one here. Was it? Street Moderate Turbo Nitrous. I think that's what we'll go with. The problem I had in the past, this engine was blowing a lot of smoke, and I assumed it was something I'd done wrong with the rings. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I pushed the motor and I went new pistons, and then I thought I'm going to have to build this motor up. But this is the problem the whole time. When I got the head serviced at this head shop in Newcastle, Australia, they put old cheapo valve stem seals in it, and a whole lot of them, these had all separated. So there was nothing wrong with the pistons, the compression or anything like that. It was purely these. So what I've done this time, I've got L-ring branded ones. Bought them from Burton Power in the UK. There's other brand of them I can't think at the moment, but these were not these, but the L-ring ones were easy to get. So this engine, there was nothing wrong with it, the bottom end, it was fine. So I'm doing this all for nothing really, but I know next time. Apparently it's a common thing when you're on E85 petrol. They ruin stem seals if you haven't got the right ones. So lesson learned. Just checking the O-rings. Turns out they're bang on, they're pretty good, really close. So minimum, as long as it's not below that, it's all good. So I'll just go through all the cylinders now, check all the O-rings, make sure they're sweet, and then I'll move on to the second ring. Starter formula, I've got a bore size of 3.366 times the spec we want, so that'll be 0.0055. This is purely for second ring too, this is not the top ring. That's a gap, 18 thousandths. I could round that up, probably 18, 19 thousandths. So I'll convert that to a metric, that way I can understand it better. How's this for sheer luck, right? So if I can get close enough for this, 0.45 mil. Look at that. Well, that fits perfect. How good's that? I'll go check all of them now. I do not have to grind them. That's a damn fluke. Yep, as expected, they're all perfectly gapped. Didn't have to touch them. Not so lucky with the top ring. It's gapped. You can't even fit that in here. It's slightly tighter. I don't care if it's too loose. If it's even if that's up to a 0.50, I don't care. So we go to 16 thousandths. So we go to here, close this up. Yep. So yep, I'll have to film this, guys, but I've got the GoPro set up. So I'm going to do, push them together like that, and then I'll count the amount of turns. Count the amount of turns of this, and I'll keep each one. I'll count. Might need to like 12 turns, and it might be good. But these are really hard from memory. These have got like a diamond steel blade for like a diamond, be diamond sort of flakes in that. So yeah, gap these right, and then I'll be on a win. 12 turns. Turned out to be 12 turns. So that's really good. So what I'll do, put them in here like so. Nice and firm. Get it in the right position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'll check the gaps now. It turns out that the 0.40 was bang on after doing 12 turns. So what I'll do at the end of all this, just file these edges, get sharp score marks off. Yeah, hopefully that'll be the end of the gap in the rings. So I've got these little files. Just carefully run over the edges. do the trick. Go through the rest 3 of them now and start getting ready to put the pistons in. So looking at how you clock these rings, so you got a guide here. So follow that. And the beauty of these forged pistons, the top ring's down a bit, so you get a lot of heat at the top, obviously, because that's where the combustion, all the heat is. And then you go further down, so the eye rings aren't so critical, the gaps, because they're further down, but you still get them right. Yeah, really nice piston. So I just got to, I'll make some room. So I've just got to remove this pin. Still locked in. I'll remove one of them. Oh, it's back in there. Can remove these little clips. There's a technique to doing that. I might get on camera, see if I can set the GoPro up. So I've got this piston, I'm going to remove this clip. So I'll just get this tool here. They come in like different shapes and that, different types, but they're really good. What I'll do, make sure you get your finger over it. It will go flying. That's the easy part. Getting it back in. I use a little flathead screwdriver. So now that side's out. Just got to pop the pin out. Luckily, they have, I must have taken the other one out. So look at the heat. See that? That's heat. I reckon if I check, one thing you can tell, right, when you get a lot of wear in the engines, spin that. Does it spin freely? See, one side's got to clip the upside, hasn't it? So does that spin freely? Because when they get a lot of wear, when they get heat in them, they start to get out of shape. But these ones are, even though they got evidence of heat. Yeah. Alright. Pop the clips back in there. Might do it here actually. Save me filming again when I'm assembling the other ones. Put your, this GoPro's blocking the view a bit. So what you can do, you can walk it in. So you start with one end in like this. You could walk it in, or what I do, I just get like that, cover it up, just go in one hit, make sure it's in right around, that's in, too easy. So I got this new gudgeon pin, good. So look at something I'm going to show you. This is a little bit of a concern, but the heat, let's go into that. It does rub off. I was starting to rub off before. They had a lot of heat. I really did push this engine too hard. So let's try this out. Nice. Tiny bit of movement. So 787. So yeah, you can see ever so slightest amount of wear. The original. So I'll lube these up really good before I put them in, and make sure I get them around the right way. Very good. So on, wasn't too bad getting them on. They're a bit tighter, obviously, because they're new, they're more expanded, but a lot easier. When I built this Cleveland Ford V8, I had to heat this up here, heat this up so that it expanded. Then you had to slide the gudgeon pin and all in one spot, get it in the right position, it quenches off, and then yeah, that was it. Very unforgiving. If you don't get it right, you have to press them back out and you can potentially damage the piston, but yeah, whole 8 pistons. Getting them on wasn't fun, but this is far easier, a lot better. So this is number 4. So I'll just I'll go through and do the other 3 now, and we'll start putting the pistons in the bores. So this is the part that can be very painful. So I can identify the top ring by the numbers there, the bevel edge. So I've got these compressors here. What I found in the past, these ones, they don't go like on the edge properly. No. So they go like this. So you've got to be really careful here. See how they're not to the edge properly. Shit. Go like that, right on the edge there. That's it. That's it. Oh, fiddly. Very fiddly. See what happened then? It didn't go down properly. So let's get it back in there. This GoPro's sort of in the road. Nice. Look at that, nice and tight. That'll seal really good. It's got the first piston in. You got the other style ring compressors, your ones that they coil up. I've got some here somewhere. But they're not very good. The other style, I'll get them out to show you. So I don't bother using this style on this motor because the thin little layers there, actually, because these forged pistons have got so much clearance, they actually get caught up in the edges here sometimes, and they can score the bore, or they get caught in there and there's shit to get out. So one thing I'm going to be really mindful of, this motor, put these pistons in. Oh god, no, I don't want it. You're seeing there, just crank out of the road. See how close that oil sprays to the conrod? Just misses it, so you've got to be super careful. So before I can go any further with this, I'll push this conrod up, and I'll just put it on the main, a big end I should say, and yeah, that'll be cylinder 1 done. But these ones here are a lot better. They I actually bought it from a bicycle shop, or motorbike shop, off the internet. It's supposed to be, this piston's 85mm. I try to use the other one. It's like I've got one missing. I don't know, but use this one, it's fine. Be completely mindful. That gap there could be completely closed. So hold that down nice and firm, and then it can almost, with that, straight in by hand. Went in a bit too quick for my liking, but I've had it in the past before where I've pushed the piston in, and then you see a tiny flake of the carbon ring. It's broken off. Devastating. Before I go any further, I guess I better measure the bore. It's usually something I do earlier, but I use this bore tool to measure the bore. 85.44. What's it here? 85.50. So it's give or take a little bit. Bit of an error on my part in measuring it, but I've got that. I've got measured the piston. I was too fussed about that, but yeah, it's very good. I'm happy with that. Machine shop got it really good. See, look at that. That's probably why it's slightly off the zero. I'll show you how these work. For anyone that doesn't know. So you get all these different sizes for different bores. Put this on top. Put that in the bore like so. And you just move that around like that. But look at this. When it goes to 0, so it doesn't exactly go to 0. Yeah, you measure the bore, get it pretty close, but yeah, I'm happy with that. So I have all the pistons in. Motor spins really nice. I was absolutely dreaming of doing this when I was done V8 motors. Yeah, looks very good. These forged pistons have got a lot more bore clearance to counteract with the amount of heat and expansion. So the last ones I had, you could actually hear it when you first started of the morning. The motor was like, oh, if I spin a bit more, you hear it knocking, you hear the pistons slapping in the bore. But as it warms up, oh, I can't spin it. As the motor warms up, the slap's not as bad. Yeah. Righto. I'm just going to dig up the specs on the rods. I think they're a 45 foot-pound, I think. I'd love to dig up some information. Now, in order for me to get true top dead center with the engine, I need this oil pump on there. So, let's go over it. This is a hot topic. Well, in the Zetec world, when I first started with these motors researching, everyone's saying that you have to buy this external oil pump rather than using the factory oil pump gears. You just take the gears out and you just run external oil pump. So all this is see, this has, I pulled apart initially when this motor had this overheating event. I checked it all out, it was all as normal. It's reasonably clean, it's not too dirty. But so these gears, if I get them out, these are Billet. These are very old. I've had these for 5 years, still going strong. There's stories going around amongst the forums saying that these shatter. These do not shatter. The cast ones shatter, these ones don't shatter. As far as I know, I've never heard it before. These, instead, if something's wrong, they'll start chewing the housing out and you'll get all sorts of problems. But yeah, these are just like, yeah, this is not new to me, because the Ford Barrows in Australia, this is all they do. They just put the billet gears in them, and I think they go the whole oil pump actually. I know they've got a Phillips head with the Barrows, and they strip, but these have got a nice Allen key. So yeah, that's what I'll do with this now. I've just got to give it a good clean up. Luckily there's no metal filings in the engine. I didn't actually, there's no damage. Luckily, as soon as it started to overheat, I shut it down. So I'll pull these out now. I've got a bit of brake cleaner. I'll just clean all these areas. Let's get excited with this pre-semi lubricant. It's not a real lot left. Apparently with those big end, the rods, con rods, you're meant to use a chrome moly. So not a moly grease, but I haven't got any. I didn't use any last time, I didn't have any problems. Safety measure, I guess, but so that's in place now. Oh, how's this go? Holding it on a weird angle. What am I doing wrong? See, look at these holes, nothing to do with it. There you go. Alright. Little screws in. I'll just pause the video, it's getting boring. I don't know what happened then, but the GoPro didn't indicate it's doing anything, and then I went to pause it. check the workshop manual. Should be torque setting for these. Don't remember what it is. Okay, have a look-see. There you go, playing up again. I do things a little bit different this time. I got this Permatex. Really good. I got a problem with this engine because I've taken this on and off so many times and I haven't always done things properly, like just rushing. I have to use a bit of this stuff they use on head gaskets called Haltech. Like a really good product, but yeah, one of these, well, the pressure is around here, one of them leaks. So if I used one of those other engines, it would have been a problem anymore. But so I've got this. I don't know if you're meant to replace these every time you pull it apart, but I'll just keep reusing it. It's fine. I've replaced this in the past. But yeah, what I'll do, I've got some Haltech there. I'll just give it a good go over. Not so much worried about here, it's all the pressure in here, that's where the issue is. So hopefully that works well. So here's the oil pump. I've got all the bolts in, but there's one here I'm leaving out. So I use this product here, Haltech. I use this on the head gaskets. You're not meant to use, I haven't got that far yet to show you, but I've been using this on my head gaskets. With cometic head gaskets, like multi-layer. But yeah, you're not meant to use it, but I find it really good because it leaks oil from this path. It goes through here and leaks, and if I do not use this, it will leak. It leaks really bad, but yeah, I'll put that on now, and I've got the torque settings over here in the manual. Got this old workshop manual on this. Has actually been for a shed fire, it survived, but so I've got the oil pump cylinder block. Pulse. 10 Newton meters, 7 foot-pounds. So I got this wheel to properly identify top dead center. So what I do, I've got this up here ready to go. So what I do, I've got to verify that it's true top dead center. So I've already got this dialed in. So when I don't want to hit that wire, I'll muck it out. But see when I move it, when it goes back to 0, it's on top dead center. But what happens, right? You got a bit of mid-range on top dead center. So look where that wire is, right? I'll get it lined up. Try and get it in the right spot. So that should be bang on top dead center. So look at that. That's it. That's bang on. So if I move that right around and jiggle around, but I should be able to go back to 0. And it's on top dead center. So in other cases, with that big Ford Cleveland V8 that I built the motor for that car, you had to there was a bit of leeway there. So even though it looked like you got it up here, there's a bit of leeway in between. So what I do, I go 10 degrees here. So you just look at it, say you do it on 200, on the 20, sorry. You go on the 20 there, then you go the opposite direction. Put on the 20 in the opposite direction. And then you mark it out where you break it in half. It's hard to explain, but you find the mid-range on here and you mark it, and then you just top dead center. But the problem I have with this engine is that I cannot have the harmonic balance on the engine while I'm doing this. Just this bolt sits right inside. There'll be ways around it, but so all I need to know is that when I put that on top dead center, up here on the dial indicator, that it's true on here. See how much it moves? So yeah, I know I'm on the right page. That's it matters. Yep. Because every time I get this block decked, it changes it. So I'll measure the piston height there too shortly. When I'm done, what I end up doing is get this cutting blade and this Dremel, put a tiny little slot right there, and then I marked it with a paint pen. Marked it with that, and it's on 0 up here. I think that's the closest I'll get. You've got to be mindful too that when this is all together I have to look down there and see it. That's the old one from the past. It looks pretty close, but yeah, it's not really good. This one's far better. Took the cams out, got them all in order. I'm numbering these lifters. One of the shims is gone, which means I'm gonna have to. I've got spares, luckily. I'll keep spares. I've got 2 spare motors, but I'll have to. I've tried numbering them, but this one's obviously left out, so I'll have to put these aside. And then when I put them back in, I'll have to, get one of my spares. And all these shims are all different sizes, so yeah, luckily I've got some spares to get it right. But yeah, the reason I'm taking these out is because down there you've got the head, where the head bolts go through. These will not fit. They're like, it's not going to happen. So I have to take all these lifters out, get up on the drill press and drill these out. Then I'm going to clean it. I remember I said to the machine shop, I said I'll get used to drill out the cylinder too for these larger head studs, but I forgot to tell them again. They obviously didn't know between jobs and stuff. I forgot. Just setting up the drill press, and one of the main things I'm going to watch out for. This tri-square here is making sure that's all square. Usually is. But this is like, in reality, you leave this up to the machine shop. You don't do this, but I'm going to do it yourself. I take risks. I'm not an engine builder. I'll just have a go. But yeah, I'll drill out this head, and then I can fit those studs in, then I can put the cylinder head on. Got all the studs drilled, the holes drilled for the studs. So yeah, all went really well. Just had to get out there to high pressure cleaner and go for the whole process. So what I'll do now, I'll go get the head gasket. And torque this head up. So this head gasket, multi-layer cometic head gasket, is a bit thinner than the last one I used. I had this idea in my head last time that when I build this motor again, I wanted more compression because I want more power, but I've since learned when it comes to these turbocharged engines, you don't want much compression if you don't have to, because too much compression, you have got a little bit less leeway for timing and stuff. You can easily damage your motor if the tune's not right. But yeah, on the flip side, when you've got a bit more compression, it's going to be way more responsive. It's already bloody powerful as it was, but it had 155 psi, so I don't know exactly how much. That's a bit on the low side of the compression, but it was a little bit doughy after last rebuild, but it's still bloody scream. But interesting to see how it goes now. Those pistons meant to be 9-to-1 compression. So yeah, either way, it's going to be awesome. Just means it needs a good tune, but I'll have the 85 anyway. So yeah, you get away with a lot of the 85. Tuners love it. Right, I'll just take this head off, clean the faces up, and then I will, put the head on. Just test fitted the head gasket. It fits beautiful. It's even got larger holes where the head bolts go through. It's like they allow room there for a potential just fits butt, I reckon. Yeah, it just fits. Oh, fit last time, it's going to fit again, but this time I managed to find the proper grease that you used for torquing it up, because it's insane. I go up to it gets up to like 116 foot-pounds. It is so hardcore. It's like, yeah, you expect it on like a bigger engine, big head studs, but this thing is tiny. It's very light, so when you're trying to swing off it, yeah, it's pretty hard to get it in this position. So what I'll do, these cometics got like a Viton, it's called Viton, some sort of sealant they put on it, so when it heats up it gets in there, and these multi-layer head gaskets have the ability to close and reseal. like when I lifted the head at some, and that's using the smaller ARP head stud. It resealed again. I was still driving the car and getting up it and stuff. It was fine, but yeah, the damage is done. Like, it's obviously not going to be as strong as it was. So I'll just take this head gasket off, give it a coat of Hylamar. So I've done it before and it works. I'll do it again, and then I'll let it go, leave it for a few minutes, let it get tacky, and I'll put it all together. These washers that I used, so these head studs for an Rb26 Nissan GTR Skyline engine. But look at the washers. They recess perfectly into the cylinder head. Like, that could have gone so wrong. Everything could have gone so wrong with these head studs, but it's like they're meant to be. Once you drill them out and tap them, everything just, yeah, it goes into place. Head's torqued up. Man, 116 foot-pounds is hardcore. Got the cams in, all that's done. Beauty of these Zetec motors, I think Duratec's like this too. You put this locking plate at the back, locks the cams in to where they're meant to be, from top dead center. And then, because these cam sprockets are adjustable, they haven't got a spline in them, so these spin freely. So what I do, I lock the cams up the back, tighten these up, put it back on top dead center. Never spin this freely when that's on top dead center. Yeah, and then, yeah, I'll just turn it clockwise a bit, turn the crank clockwise a bit, turn it anti-clockwise. And then, yeah, just, if you don't like where the pulleys are sitting, you can undo them with the cam belt off and adjust them. See, that there's a little bit too far. I could move it over. Yeah, I can easily do it now if I want. Spin it around. I'll look at the photos. He's marked at exhaust inlet, which is good. I didn't even notice it. I just put them on and fluked it. But yeah, if I want, I can just leave it. I think it's I don't remember now, one of these retarded. Might be the inlet, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's phenomenal. Like, when I got dyno tuned, the tuner retarded one of these cams, and it just got insane torque, like 635 newton meters of torque. It was unbelievable. But the horsepower was down to probably about, I think it was about 490. So yeah, but it was unbelievable, so powerful. Every gear, it just blow the tyres off every gear. It was amazing. Yeah, so I might just, I don't know, I'll look at an old photo I've got and just see whereabouts that was sitting before. If that was sitting up here, but you can read it. You can read it. It's meant to be red from the below, so maybe that, yeah, let's leave it. And it'd be nice if that was clocked over a couple of teeth, but you know, it's just the way it is. That's, I forgot to mention, these aren't factory. The factory ones are plastic and high RPM, they're supposed to fail. So these are from Retroford. They're a solid billet machined. I've had a lot of problems, but this bearing kept failing. Don't think that was too tight. I don't know. It's been good now for ages, but yeah, for a while there it was a pain. When it's cold it howled, and then once it warms up it's good. Yeah, very basic. This is old school now. These old belt driven, but still work well. I was about to test fit this Retroford water rail. The lighting sucks. And they got I'd have to read the instructions. There's something going on with that. I don't remember what it was, but that one there is the temperature sender for the Haltech ECU I've got. So that's a definite. And then I tried to go put in the sending unit for the temperature gauge in the cluster. And I've got a brand new one here with the kit. I'm more inclined to use that. But it's for that. It's for that hole there. It's not for this. So I've got a bung here, so I can bung that off. And I'll have to, I reckon I'm gonna have to drill a hole. Maybe I think it was over here. I've got to look at it again. Somewhere it's easy to get to. I'm gonna have to tap another thread in it. I can hear a feedback. So I got to tap a hole there, put the sand unit in, and then there's this other one along here. That's for this. That's a controller, so it turns the thermo fan off and on. But I'll just leave that now. I won't use it. I can bung it off if I've got anything that's got the same thread type. I don't need that. Yeah, but I'll show you the old water rail now. I found it. It's It's a nightmare. It's so trashy now. I've used it for many years, but it's looking like shit now. It's had that much coolant and shit going on. But it used to sit there like that. Goes around. It worked great. There's no problems with it, but why keep using it? It's just shit. I was on a budget obviously when I was doing this car, but it's got a 8AN fitting there for the cooling for the turbo. So I'm going to have to tap a thread into this water rail here. I have to find out where once it's assembled. Tap a thread. Hopefully I've got a fitting for it. Hoping. Back into it. Turns out this fitting here on this water rail is perfect for a 6AN fitting. So all I have to do is have one that goes from here to the cooling side of this turbo, and then the bottom, the other side, the other cooling for this side will go down to the water pump, and then that way the water pump will suck, and this will just get sucked through there, sucked for the water rail. Perfect. So I was hoping I could use this. It's like the perfect length, but unfortunately, I've only got one adapter that goes to here. I need another one for here, and it's Sunday, so I'll struggle to be able to. I have to make a special trip. It'll be an hour and a half out of the day just to go get this. That's if they're even open. Either that, I could just make a new 6AN line. I'll have to do that, I reckon. Made the fittings. It's perfect. I'm just going to put a bit of this special heat sort of sleeve on it. Should have put that on before, but it was a bit of a test fit. But yeah, that's brilliant. I want to have it so you can still see the Retroford lettering. I'm looking over this water rail and I'm trying to work out. So you got ECU sender goes there for temperature. I've got another one that I've just bought. It measures pressure as well as temperature, but it's the same thread again. I thought it might have been the same thread as this, so I'll try to look it up on the internet for an M12 1.5 to 20 MPT 27, or was it 1/8 to 27 MPT adapter. They're all over internet, but there's none available in my area. And then when there are available, there's one, no, forget the brand. It's like an expensive brand. It's like $102 for a freaking adapter. It's just stupid. That's what I'm looking at doing. This is a bung for that. What I'm going to do, I'm looking at drilling into this. And I've got the taps here. I've got, it's empty. This chart tells you the size drill bit that you need to use that tap. So it's an 8.5. This is 8. I can make it work. It's not less than ideal, but to have the perfect drills all the time for all these is not always easy. So yeah, I'll have to set that up in the drill press, and I'll do like a pilot hole first, so I get on target, and then I'll because if I'll stuff it up, it's a bit of meat there, but it's got to go right through. I probably actually better off doing it from this end. It's already got a pilot hole. Let's go straight through it. Let's have to measure again, make sure I can do it. Just looking over this water rail. It's been a while since I bought it. I've had it sitting inside for ages. So I'm just looking at. So that's that. What I was telling you about before. That's a fan switch. So where that fan switch was now, I've got a 6AN fitting. Thermostat. Check that. It's 88 degrees. It's set at. That's pretty good. I reckon. Could be a little bit cooler maybe. No, that should be fine. It's a newer motor. So that's a perfect spot for the thermostat. I had it up the other end last time and I had things bleeding off it. So yeah, no wonder the engine struggled to get temperature. And there, see on the right there, that copper looking sender unit, that's where I've got the ECU temperature going to at the moment. The one on the left is meant for an ECU, but ECU temp sender, but the one I've got now that is calibrated to the computer in the engine now for the engine is it's not suitable for that. So I'll bung that off and I'll make another fitting somewhere. I'm just trying to work out where. That little one there, I'll work out what the hell that's for. That's designed for a heater hose. So if you're going to run your heaters, you run off that, but you can't make that hole any bigger. I reckon that's got to be small, because if you make that bigger, it's going to affect how the engine warms up. It's going to stuff it all up. So yeah, I'll just I'm not so fussed about heaters at the moment. I'm thinking about if I need heaters again, I'll just I'll just run it like an electric sort of setup under the dash, like a sort of like a hairdryer in that sense, 12 volt. Yeah, there's just simply not enough material. There's just not enough material to drill into it. It'd be like over about 2 millimeters, if that, either side. It's like, yeah, it's got to go right through too. So, but I didn't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to make another hole. Try and make it right here. Bloody no shortage of material on that. This is a sand casting too. Like, you get a lot of stuff in China. It's a die cast. It's not as strong. It's more fragile, but it's die cast. Pump the castings out, like they can make a lot of castings real quick. Where this stuff, these sand casting, you can tell this is like a finer sand too. So they've done this is a really good quality item. I worked in a foundry for a while, and 10 years. Got to know the casting, but this is really good quality. Like, they've gone to a lot of trouble to do this. You can easily see a joint line. You get cross joins where they haven't cast it. So this would have been the bottom of the mold, and this they would have poured the metal in probably from this point, and it's gone in, and this would have been the top. And they've just there. It's really good quality. So I'll just drill this. I better lubricate it. Let it dry. So much material in there. It's freaking awesome. So I just got to grab the tap. I'm tapping this hole, right, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? If I get the camera closer, see right down in there, there's like the casting. It's like, I should have drilled a bit deeper, but the drill, I've got to be really careful now, because if I drill into that, I can wreck the thread that I've just made. That's what I'll do. I've got this die grinder. I'll get in there. I'll have to bloody make that end a bit longer if I can. People say, why is it taking so long to get something done on the car? This is why, when you have to custom retrofit stuff, make changes, this is what happens. So I'll get right in there. See how that worked. Let it be light. I did just tap the thread a bit, unfortunately. So well. Yeah, it's a bit tight, so I'll just have to, the camera's a little bit close. Need to get a better one of these. It's shit, this one. It's getting too tight now. If I push on, it will break. No. What is going on? Yep, still something casting there. I'll use the light this time. Get in there, start. That's what I did not want to happen. I got this bug probably 6 months ago. The nastiest bugs I ever had, and it's done something to me, because every now and then I
coughing, I can't breathe properly. What am I doing? Keep going to that hole. Idiot. I'm still hitting. Just see the corner up there. Just this, the backing there scuffs out on it. There it goes, it's going in now. 12. That'll do it. Very good. Now we can go back to the... Should use a bit of thread tape on that. This has got a bit of stuff left on there, but they got, when you buy new, they got like a special bloody sealant on it. Tighter than that. So these are sort of accessible, so we'll go test fit it down, see how it looks. I'm just really happy with the quality of this. Like, they've now got an O-ring now, it's in there, which needs to be cleaned. They've got an O-ring in there where I had a big mother of a gasket. It was a pain because I was siliconing it up every time I take it off. I had to clean it, make a new gasket, but this one just goes off and on. Like, obviously it'd be shit to get off. It'd be shit to get off in there, but they've done the best they can. They've got these, like a, you know, you call it a button head, like an Allen key bowl, which are really, really, you know, you can't get much smaller than that. Like, that's it. Like, just get them to start them off. I remember looking at these in the past and I want to get one of them, but it's just like another cost, you know. It's alright when you got one build going, that's alright, you can manage it, but when you got multiple builds, done again. When you got multiple builds going, as anyone would know, it gets really like toxic financially. I forgot to put that bloody screw in up here. You never get this in, ever. You have to tighten them up. That it might be. They might have done a good job of it, but they're never going to get it, so it's bloody. Never tighten it right up, just pinch it up a little bit. So. Beauty of that seal, you don't have to tighten these right up, but just pinch it up just so it won't come loose, and that seal will seal good. They've got this, in Australia you've got Speedflow, and that's pretty much considered one of the best. Well, they've been around for a long time, but the trouble is their products are getting so expensive, so I've stopped buying it. I don't need to buy it anymore, but I was buying it there for a long time. But every time I went to buy it from the store locally, Speedflow Direct, or Pickeroo they're called, but they also deal with Pickeroo Direct, Speedflow Direct, and yeah, their products just kept going up. Every time I go there, it's just like a freaking big bump up. I'm like, stuff that. Same goes to these AN fittings. You always pinch them up, just so the threads are starting to go on, and then yeah, you get them for this. I'll sit right over there. Over tighten them a bit while I hurt. Beautiful. Righto, that's freaking nice. So that's, I can get to that. It gets sort of close to where the gearbox is. Gearbox will be up around here. Bell housing, but that's alright, I can work around it. But as long as you get in there, like I've got the hoist, I've got luxury of the hoist, I can get under it. But for other people it'd be hard, but it would have been nice to use that. I could have got an adapter, it's not the end of the world. If I want, I could bung that off. But yeah, awesome. I need to fit, I'll show you the exhaust setup. I've got this flexible bend. So where you got the wastegate, it bleeds off into this manifold. It hasn't got a flex joint in it, so I've always had problems sealing it off, and always got a little bit of an exhaust leak. The car might sound good when it's idling doing it, but yeah, it's obviously not right because you're going to get fumes coming off the engine, going into the cab, inside the car. No, there's not meant to be any holes in the firewall. It always manages to find its way in there. I don't usually fit the dump pipe to the engine when it's out of the car because you're never going to get it 100% right. But I think I've seen whereabouts it's got to go to. Usually I would film this sort of thing, but it's just fiddly stuff. These V-bands are a good thing, but they save a lot of time. It's easier when it's in the car. It's got some anchor off on the back. Yeah, right. So now you've got to get it in the right spot. If you don't, you think you got it good, and then the V-band doesn't seat properly, and then you get an exhaust leak. Sits around there, I reckon. That appears to be in the right spot. You can tell because there's a scorch mark. That's what I'll do. Take this off. Oh, no. I was hoping that I could. Before I go any further, I might shitting it off. I'll mark it on here. Just get a gist of where it's happy. It's a happy spot. Best time to do it now. I can tell just by looking at that. I'm not going to go any of this V-band stuff on that car, on the Falcon XP, bugger that. Too bloody. That's just, yeah, it's more of a modern sort of option really, but that's where the direction I went with the Escorts. Okay, so that's its happy spot. That's where it likes to sit. So now I've got still a little bit less time. Right up, it's got to be tight. It's better. Doesn't seat. That's not 100%, but must be the V-band. You've got to have this in the right spot. You've got to have it in the right spot or it doesn't work. So this bleeds off. So when the turbo wants to bleed off the boost, it just goes in through this wastegate, opens the valve, poof, and blows off in here where you got the what they call it, screamer pipe, but these go straight up through the bonnet. That's freaking awesome. That's race mode, but so if I want to do that, I'd have to have it going straight up here at the bonnet, but it's all good. I'll just leave it the way it is. So it goes in there. So that's the beauty of this joint. Yeah, so all I have to do, heat shield on there, cut that off, and I'm going to have to adapt it to there somehow. But this will flex, it'll bend and sort of, it'll add a little bit of movement, not a real lot, but enough just to get it to be a little bit better what it is. Just hope I've got enough gas. I've been leaning on that welder a lot, and I haven't done the gas for ages. So Yeah, righto. I'll have to see what I've got to do here. Start cutting.
What a mission. I've spent 5 hours on this engine today. Water rail and this exhaust manifold. Now I've got that dump pipe, wastegate pipe sorted. It's time to flip her over, get rid of that box where it gets wiped out, and put this sump on. What a sight. The alternator's a bit of a shit to get on in the car, so I decided to put on now, but it does affect the room. I remember I was at Summonats, Canberra, and anyone doesn't know, it's like the redhead capital of the year when it comes to all the burnouts and heavy, like tough cars, muscle cars and everything got to do with cars and burnouts. Well, they got the Haltech Heroes. It's like a dyno hub, and you get in there and they have different categories, V8, 6-cylinder. They did have, well, they got 4-cylinder, they had 6-cylinder, they got 6-cylinder turbo, 6-cylinder natural aspirated, same goes V8. They had a 4-cylinder class and a rotary class together. They took away the 4-cylinder class, so that my car, I think, was the last year that they had the 4-cylinder class, which sucked. So I remember I had the Escort outside the shed, and anyone knows Skid Factory, Al? He come out and he's looking over the Escort, looking at the engine and talking for a bit, and he looked at the alternator and he goes, "What the hell is that thing?" It's out of a 97 or 98 model Mondeo silver top engine. It's massive, but it just keeps on going and going. I've got 2 spares sitting there. If those 2 other Blacktops I got, they're a lot smaller, but I'm just going to keep running this until it stops working. And usually they, when you start revving them really hard, the engine's really hard, the alternators can start giving you grief, but this thing's been up to 8,200 RPM numerous times, and it hasn't let me down yet. Well, I might have to, I'm going to have to make a trip to Repco, and I'm going to have to get an oil filter, and I'll have to look around here and see if I've got oil. I generally have oil laying around. I did buy some new stuff for this, I don't know if I used it in one of my other cars. So I'm at Super Cheap Auto, and it's got all these different hoses. So I found this one, so that'll come off the water rail good and line up with the radiator, best I can get. You just got to look for the right one, it's got the right shape. So you've got to be mindful. You're not looking at the car, so you've got to sort of have an idea where it goes, but hopefully that lure definitely should be long enough. Bloody well hope so, if not I'll have to extend it. I'll see if there's a longer one again, but I don't think there is. Perfect timing, dog. Like, let's play fetch while I'm putting a motor in. Just about to put this old girl in. I forgot to film it last time I put the motor in the coupe. I was that anxious about getting it in. I was hanging it off, doing the same way I'm doing it now, and that motor's a V8 Cleveland's a lot heavier than this motor. But yeah, I'm just sitting here looking at it and watching over it and see what it's going to do, and everything's good. I just got to pull a stand out from under it, wheel a car out in the right spot. I just don't know how it's going to go with this dump pipe on. Usually I've got no cylinder head. I'll just put the block in and put the head on and do it that way because of the water rail. So it's a little bit different this time, but take me time. It's all good. Got plenty of beers, got plenty of time. What a mission. This car is so easy. This dog's relentless when I play fetch. But this car is so fucking heavy. It was a damn bloody well effort getting it out. Wow. Looks so good. Yep. Push it back in now. Put her in behind the Escort. And the Escort's going to have the hoist. 4 o'clock start today. As soon as I woke up, I'm like, nah, I'm getting into it. I'm going to get this thing going. I just noticed too when I was putting this motor in, have a look at the sump. This pipe I've got going across here has been hitting on the sump, and I've been getting this vibration through the car, just like this annoying sound. I'm wondering, I never could work out what it was. Not that I really try hard to find out what it was, but yeah, I'll just have to modify that now. Make this pipe a bit longer, lower this down a fraction. Yeah, it's little stuff. The joys of doing engine conversions. You always gotta be mindful of clearances and stuff. Disregard. Just had it sit in the wrong spot. I've got a fixture up here that holds it in position. Probably misses it by about, I don't know, about 5mm or something. And this motor does not move much because it's got the Retroford engine mounts. These are a common type of engine mount they use in like engine conversions, so they're very stiff. See how to make a modification to this World Cup cross member for that to clear. There's not much I could do. I was hoping that there'd be a linkage. Well, there's less fierce debate about this. I copped a lot of they've apparently put a different sort of flex joint in here. I don't know. I couldn't find one for life of me. They're all too short. But yeah, it's all good. Just had to modify it a bit. But yeah, everything lines up like it should. Just looking at this whole setup, looking over everything. I've always had this thing where I had the cylinder head off and just put the block in by itself. I know now why. I don't do this all the time, so I sort of just forget where I'm at with it. But those engine mounts, they're an absolute nightmare to get to. Like I couldn't get to under here properly. It was a shit show. I think what the go is you've got to put the motor in dead flat. Have a fixture where it's mounted so the engine goes in completely flat. Lower it down. And because I've got a hoist now, I'll be able to put something here on the roof. A proper fixture for putting engines in and out. It moves around, and I'll just be able to put the motor in, have the car off the ground a little bit, get under it and just line the holes up. Because yeah, the part of the crappy thing about working on this car is just being so tight in the engine bay. But like a new school car, if the motor's assembled, everything's complete, you just matter of slipping the motor in and just connecting up the harness and plumbing the pipework and stuff. But yeah, just trying to make things easier for myself long term. But this water rail's made the difference so much better. I can easily just undo that now. Undo the water rail and this turbo manifold, all that accessible. There it comes off, take the cylinder head off. Nothing's a big deal anymore. Not, especially not now. I've got this hoist. Done a bit of damage to it yesterday. Fucking hell. Dog shit. I'll have to put a bit of... This engine bay needs another go over. It's getting pretty old now, this paint. I mean, I use it. The car doesn't sit around like a show pony. I'll get out there and drive it. Take up shops, do everything with it. Love it. Except for travel. It just revs too hard. Righto. Assembly. I'll try to keep the rocker cover off to get more room working on it, but I fell into a problem. This does not work. Trying to get it from radiator here, go around the bend, then go to the water rail. This car is unique because it's got... I moved the radiator over to one side to make room for an airbox. Because back in the day, this car I didn't think it was registerable with this motor and all the modifications. So I was talking to the engineer, and at the time he said I need to have an airbox because the engine came out with an airbox. But it turns out things have changed, luckily, and yeah, I didn't need an airbox anymore. But it's a good thing. It makes the engine bay a bit tighter, but it does look neat. It's a good little area to have it. You don't see the air filter. It's good. Like a new car sort of in a sense, but yeah, it's knocked the position out for the radiator. So this is the old pipe. It goes around here and goes in the direction of the water rail. That's all I have to do. It'd be nice if there was a pipe available that was perfect, that went in the direction and all that, but I just haven't got one at the moment. But you won't really see this. I'll make a join. You won't really see it because it's got this big pipe that goes around here and goes into the airbox. So what I'll do, I'll just get a bit of pipe, steel pipe goes into that. Make a joint and just join these two up and that should be good. Yeah, this water rail is freaking amazing, but it's like there's so much a risk getting this because usually you get the water rail, then you make the manifolds to suit the to work around it. But luckily I'm able to put the manifold in, the water rail in it, and it just works. This water rail is the best thing I've got this car for a long time. Can't believe I can even access down here now. I couldn't really get in there properly before the old water rail, but I can actually get in there and I can almost, can't quite reach the crank angle sensor, but yeah, unreal. It's freaking awesome. All the AN fittings are bloody easy to get to. It's great. So now I bump her up into the air. I've got this Ford C4. That's out of a Ford Mustang, 1974 Ford Mustang. I looked up the part number on it. Got it. A bloke, a transmission shop buys them in a shipping container, heaps of transmissions. So he built this one for me. So yeah, bloody throw that in. That's been manualised too, so that's why it can handle so much power. And it's got a 4.5 or 4,000 RPM stall converter in it, so it's too tight. It needs to be looser again, but it is what it is. Bought this transmission jack. Bit of a necessity when you get a hoist. Putting the gearboxes in makes it a lot easier unless you're really super strong. Yeah, this unfortunately I've reached the max height, 180 centimeters. So that's as high as it goes. Be good for shorter people, then it wouldn't be a problem for me. This hoist, yeah, I have to squat down that, but it's all good. Better than not have any of this at all. I'm getting really close now. I had to change this fuel pressure regulator. Used to have it mounted onto here, but the welds kept breaking off. It kept breaking, the bracket kept cracking. It just, by the end of it, I had welds all over here. It looked like shit. So apparently, according to ChatGPT, you can have the fuel pressure regulator mounted on the body. I mean, someone, I don't know who, told me that you have to have it mounted to the engine. I don't know, but yeah, see how it goes. But yeah, it seems to be nice and tidy. I put nut certs in here too. So yeah, I'm up to the leads. Had a misfire when I was running it last time, and I had this, it missed and then it come good. It was just an ongoing thing, and I didn't know what it was, and I just thought, oh yeah, it does it on cold, then it gets hot, it's alright. A lot of my time's been going into this other car, and other Jeep and all these other projects, but this car's been neglected for a long time. So yeah, now I've made a lot of improvements to it. So here's, when you buy the Retroford conversion kit, or anything Retroford or Retro rocker cover, the BDA style, you get these leads with these ends on it. Trouble is, the leads aren't really good enough to run like higher horsepower levels like I've got, and the problem I had, I was trying to run the standard Zetec coil, and the under high boost, it was just blowing the spark out, it just misfiring and carrying on. So I've got all the General Motors GM LS1 throttle bodies, not throttle bodies, coil packs. I've got 8 of them for like $80 from a wrecker. Yeah, all 4 have been brilliant. Never had a problem since in relation to spark. So what I'm doing now, I've got these MSD leads, they're massive. What I do, you buy like the MSD kit, a lead kit, and you get this special tool for crimping the lead ends. So what I do, pull the guts out. So pull the guts out, pull the lead out. So pull this backwards. So with these, I'll put the Zetec. I've got spare leads. I've got some for the silver top and some for the black top. And what it was, I don't know what the difference was. I don't remember now. Oh yeah, different type of coil. Silver top had a different coil to the black top. So I got spare leads, luckily. But all this on the old lead was all burnt and melted, and it was just crap from misfiring. Not arcing properly. So what I do, you get this part here, that rubber separates and goes up the lead like this. And then you get the Retroford end, you slide it up there, and then you just get a new MSD ones, and you put them on here, crimp it on, and then yeah, you've got bloody new leads again. So I've just tested out, 3 of them are gone for. I've tested out to make sure they reach, because every time I've had to cut these back because they broke off when I pull them out. So I had to be really careful. If these get too short, I've got spare leads, I'll have to make all the leads again. I do not want to do that. It's a lot of work. So just look at this, right? There's your MSD lead. That's a both MSD leads, them ones. So measure the core. It's about 256. They say a 2.5 mil core, and then you get the aftermarket Zetec leads. Get from Retroford. Yeah, tiny, absolutely tiny. So see a big difference between I know I wouldn't be too fussed about the lead itself, the size, but it's a core because this engine on a high boost, yeah, it needs a really good spark. Just if it hasn't got a good spark, it just won't fire the combustion. I just closed it up with the pliers just to get it started, and then I'll put the tip on the crushing MSD crushing tool. Here's the tool here, set up in the vise. Try to film it. Back to the phone, GoPro. It's more effort. Just close that up. See how much it's just about closed up now. Anymore it'll start breaking shit. I actually bought a brand new one of these the other day. Had it stored somewhere safe. Don't know what happened to it now. It's gone. So luckily I found the old one. It's the reason I bought a new one, because I couldn't find the old one. Time has passed. Things have turned to shit. I reckon I've spent about 2.5 days. I've got the engine running, but it's got this horrible mess. I've gone through everything. See if I can go. I'll talk you through it now. So the engine, it seems like it's getting flooded with fuel. I've fitted new spark plugs, made new leads, and they need to be modified to suit the motor better. Swapped the coils over, tested fuel pressure, it's normal. I've had one of my mates use his team app, or actually accesses my laptop and goes through everything, and the map sense is normal. The wideband O2 sensor on the exhaust is normal. That's like, what is going on here? So the motor is basically getting flooded with fuel. All cylinders seem to be getting fired. The spark plugs are evenly warm. Tested the temperature of the exhaust ports, they're all similar. Yeah, it's just getting flooded with fuel, but I think I might be onto something. So right, if you look at that gauge, right, there's your fuel pressure. I've tested fuel pressure, it's 45 psi, it stays there, but look at this. Gets up to 45. Now look how quick it drops off. That indicates to me that I've put this fuel pressure regulator on backwards, and when I've done that, fuel was pissing everywhere, like fucking spraying. I'm like, oh shit, what's going on here? I repeatedly kept taking the rail off, putting it back on, and it's the same thing, kept blowing seals out. So then I worked out, oh shit, fuel pressure regulator's on backwards. I fixed it, but I think it could be a possibility. I'm going to do another test now. That is a possibility that the injectors are damaged. I've overpressurized them to hurt them. Yeah, well, soon see. I'm going to take this manifold off, pressurize it, and see if the injectors leak. I've had to step it up. These injectors run these special spaces, so the rail sits out here further. I think I had them set up for another type of injector that were longer, and then the tuner's gone to a Bosch 1420cc injector, and they're heaps shorter, so he put these extensions in. The problem is these things swivel around and move if this doesn't go on well. So what I've done, I've take the spacers away, close the gap up. I've had to put a flat bit of plate under there, either side, M5 screws, high tensile. Then I've had to weld these little brackets that come off the manifold. Now I'm just cutting a thread into it. I would have liked to run a bigger screw, but there's just no room. But these are a high tensile, they're pretty strong. I think once they're in place, they're tight, they should be good. So I've got those screwed in. So what I need to do is get the welder and just put little tacks in there. Get it fixed in a position where that's permanent, and then I'll have to take it all apart, move the injectors out of the road. And yeah, I might just weld it from the back maybe. I know it's always a risk because the injectors are close, so I'll have to move the injectors out. Yeah, so I took a chance. I've got this guide here, it tells you what, so you've got different types of thread types. So mine was a M5.8 mil, and here it is here. So what I do, that tells you to use a 4.2 mil drill bit, but I only had a 4 mil, so I just had to take me sweet time. If I try to get in it too quick, I'd snap the bloody tap out inside it, and then it'd be a disaster. I'd have to chop it off and make a new one, and go get another tap if I've got a spare. So yeah, weld this up, see how it comes out. So I'm just testing out the fuel rail. So prime it up. Is that 45? That's pretty normal, I believe. Can't feel any leaks. And the injectors are not leaking. So rule that out. We didn't really feel like going out and spending another $600 plus whatever on injectors, so that's good. Yeah, made a big difference. So now I can move on and try to work out. I've got to put this contraption back together now and keep probably running the motor and find out. Next thing I want to check is the valve clearances. They said they shimmed it for me. All the lifters, they shimmed them, but if they didn't shim them right, and it'd be the cylinders would be leaking. But I've already given it a compression test and they come up pretty good. Yeah, I just have to keep testing and see if we can solve the issue. Got a wicked vacuum leak under the manifold. Yeah, she's not happy. So what I had a vacuum line, this one here, I accidentally got I pinched it under the manifold, and when I pulled it out I must have damaged the gasket. It's got a major vacuum leak. So yeah, that's when you get erratic idle, high pitched whistling sound. I've got problems with the fan belt, but it's slipping real bad. I need a bigger one. Tension a bit more. Yo! So it turns out, got the Haltech software going on the laptop, looking over everything, and it kept coming up this trigger error, which indicates it could be something wrong with the crank angle sensor or something. So my mate Sam Varco got on his TeamViewer app and he had a look over everything. It turns out that the cam angle sensor right up the back here, it was not working properly. The wires got damaged or the sensor's faulty, but it just threw everything out of whack. So the moment he clicked, changed one setting on it, the motor just went back to running smooth. Righto, start her up. Forgot to film. Bloody going sweet now. Turns out the he had a horrible miss on idle, using heaps of fuel. It's a freaking nightmare. I've spent a lot of time going through it. Turns out that there's a cam sensor right there. I think the wiring's damaged. I sort of fixed it, but I must have got the wires around the wrong way. Either that or the sensor's no good. I kept getting these errors. I'll show you up here. So you got voltage operating minimum. Yeah, that's because I left the battery on overnight. Throttle position sensor, voltage correction. It's gone now, but it was a trigger error. I did tell my mate about it. I said it's got a trigger error or something, and was like, it didn't seem like a butter. It seemed like it was running on like down cylinder. But yeah, it turns out just a cam sensor. Now she's really smooth now. Just it's hunting the RPM's going up and down. It's hunting, so it needs tuning. But my mate's got a friend who's he owns an engine building shop, machine work and all that. He's got his own property and he's got a shed with a dyno in there. So my mate offered, he said, look, I can dyno it for you, and we go through it, and you know, he'll put a lot of time into it, go through all the bugs this engine's got, because every time I take it to a tuner, they don't seem to finish it. They do a partial job. You drive away, the car goes hard, it doesn't idle properly, or the two-step doesn't work. There's always something I'm not happy with when I drive off. So yeah, at this point in time, that's what I'll look at. It'll get my mate to tune it for me. But what I'm doing now, I'm just putting this back together. I was gonna run the BDA cover, the fake Cosworth cover. It does look better, but I just like the. I think I'll just go with this one for now. I just like the. I really like the new school look. Looks nice, but yeah, I'll just leave that for now. I just had to. I'm running the original Retroford leads, are a bit smaller, and I'll just use this MSD lead kit bought off eBay. That's a lead kit, and it's got all these special LS1, because this is running the Holden or the General Motors V8 LS1 coils. So these are universal. So I've got 8 of them, but seeing like it's for a V8, the leads, and they give you all these ends. I should have showed you, just use this special tool I've got laying around here. Yeah, this here. And you just squish the ends on, it's pretty easy. So I'll leave those leads on for now, but when it comes to after the engine's worn in and I've got everything done, then I'll chase some horsepower, and I'll put the other leads back on, because these will probably start having issues at higher horsepower. I'll start probably not being able to send enough power through to it. So what I'll do now, I've got to beauty having this hoist, I can get up here and I can clean all beyond the grill, get all the front nice and pretty, and I'll put the grill back on. Time to wrap up this video. It has it's funny, I was talking about the alternator earlier on in the video, and turns out it just died. I think the brushes are worn out, because what you do when the brushes are worn, you usually give them a tap with a hammer and they come good for a while. So I took it in today, got a pink slip for us, so I can put club registration back on it. But yeah, it drives really nice, like it's unbelievable. Like it just, because of this new water roll, it just maintains a constant temperature, which stays even the whole time. So I got different options with the alternator. I can get on Retroford in the UK. I can buy a whole alternator kit. There's one that's 40 amp, and there's another one that's 50, and then step up to the next one, 70. So looking up the specs on this thing, Motorcraft / Bosch, it's 90 amp. So then I was considering buying it from them, but it's big money, it's not cheap. It's like, I don't know, $1,000 or something. But then I was looking at this other one I got here, wherever the hell I put it. So I've got this motor, what's this says Ford on it? This is a lot newer, this one. This has come off the Blacktop. So it'd be like, the last one, that one on the car now is probably a 97. This one's probably 2001 through to 2004. So yeah, they've cut the plug off here. Someone's re-insulated at one point. I found the plug on the loom on that spare Blacktop engine. So yeah, I could run this. I measured this up, it's slightly different. I'll be more inclined to run this, because this, I'll probably have to make a new bracket for it, but if I run this alternator, at least then, you know, it didn't cost me anything, and if it packs it in, it's still, I can see these on the internet and buy new regulators for them and stuff. And I've got another one on that engine, so it makes sense to use this, or it doesn't look too crash hot. But yeah, that's where I'm at. But all I need to do now, it just needs a good tune. It's got, when you're driving at say 80 kilometers an hour and you're back to accelerate off, it's got a bit of flat spot when you start using the throttle again. It's got the Bosch drive-by-wire, so it's a lot of electronics in this engine system. So I'll just start her up for you. I've got the exhaust actuator open up at the moment, so it'll sound beast. The idling's a bit out there, and needs tuning. Sorry, neighbours.
got, I'll turn this engine off. It's got a two-step, so you put it in first gear, put your foot flat on the brake, push that in, then put the accelerator flat to the floor, and it builds, retards the timing and puts more fuel in the system, and it gets the turbo up, so it's build and boost. You let that off, let the brake off, and it's party time. And I've got this here. Hello, dog. Yes, very friendly dog, aren't you? So I've got this rotary dial here, Haltech one, so I can go from gate pressure boost right through to max 30 psi, but at the moment I'm just have it on gate pressure, and that's me adjustable bias for the front and back brakes, but I don't usually play with that, let alone I've got to set that up properly. I probably need to go to a mechanic and get a plate brake test, maybe, I don't know. There's some computer hiding in there, but I'll show you what else I got for it. So I've got this Haltech IC7 dash that's got to go into the cluster, so have to mold it in, but you can buy. One of my friends have been doing a lot of work for me, but he found me the backing. You can put the two gauges in the tacker and speedo to look really old school, sort of like me Falcon's dash. You know, the Escort's one's slightly different, but put like old school sort of looking. It's a lot different to that. It's an RS2000 dash, that one. But this one here, you can get a whole dash, like the whole dash that comes out. You get one that's molded to suit this for the Escort, so that'll be absolutely brilliant. So I've got that to do later on down the track. Then I've got this TC4. So this is designed to run these thermal sensors. So you've got 4 of them. You put them in the exhaust ports, the exhaust manifold, and you get I'm basically setting the engine up so that I know what's going on. I don't lean it out again in the past and melt the hole for the cylinder head. So I've got all these pressure sensors are put in. So for oil pressure, fuel pressure drops, it'll cut spark, and then I've also got to put one in the cooling system so I can tell, looking at the data, to see if I've lifted the cylinder head. So yeah, that's stuff I've got to do down the track, but I'm not fussed about it at the moment. I'm going to have a bit of a time out now. I'm sort of getting a bit burnt out working on cars. I'm working on this thing, working on the Escort. I'm doing that all the time. I just need a break. But yeah, this car will progress next. So yeah, that's where I'm at with this car. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's one of the longest videos I've ever done on YouTube. So I've just put a little clip from Summernats. It's like a motor festival here in Australia in Canberra where all the revheads get together, and I entered this car into the Haltech dyno comp, and this got into the finals for the 4-cylinder class, but I got outgunned by Turbo Nissan SR20 and FJ20. The SR20 got about 40 horsepower more, but the FJ20 was off its head. It got like about 100 horsepower more. It's really ripe. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it.